All right, more predicate adjective work. Let me get to that page. Today we're going to do page 201 to 203. All right, once again, they're giving us this list of verbs that are either action or linking depending on how they're using them in a sentence. So you can taste cherry pie. So if you taste pie, taste is action, so pie is the direct object. But the pie can taste delicious. The pie isn't tasting, it just tastes a certain way. There it's considered a linking verb, and delicious would be a predicate adjective. All right? We're going to underline our verb twice, subject once. Label each verb action or linking. Circle the complement and label it PA or DO, making sure your predicate adjectives are adjectives and your direct objects are nouns or pronouns. All right. Let's let me look at second here. All right, I think I'll have you do some stuff on your own on page 203. Let's go through this together. May not do all of them, but we'll do at least half of them. The sky grew dark just before the storm. All right, I'm going to just cross out the prepositional phrase here just so we don't consider it. All right. So the sky grew, and the sky grew. It doesn't actually grow, it just becomes dark. So this is a predicate adjective, and we're going to put PA above it. I'm going to make my pen a little bit skinnier so it doesn't have problems. That might be too skinny. There we go. All right. We grew some pumpkins and some squash in our garden. Let's get rid of in the garden. All right. We grew. What did we grow? We grew pumpkins and squash. And here you're doing an action. So these are the direct objects. These are what you grew. His trumpet sounds squeaky. So the trumpet sounds squeaky is a predicate adjective. See, sounds is one of those ones that can be either making a sound or you can sound a certain way. Sound the trumpets. Okay, by the way, this is an understood you because it's an imperative sentence. You write it, you put it in parentheses, and you underline it once because it's the subject. Do you remember that? You sound, you do an action. What are you going to sound? Trumpets, they're the direct object. Have you ever tasted frog legs? Oh my gosh, who would want to? I always hear, oh, it tastes like chicken. I said, well, then eat chicken. All right. You is the subject. Have tasted. Here you're actually tasting something and you're eating just the legs. Frogs would be the direct object. I mean, frogs would be the adjective for legs, which is the direct object. All right, according to Ethan, that to Ethan, according, I think just to Ethan is the prepositional phrase. I'm not sure about, I think it's an introductory word. Trying to figure out what we'd call it. You know, it's crazy because I used to know everything in every sentence, but man, when you don't use it, you lose it for sure. So things that I'm not teaching you guys, I forget. I almost feel like I need to go back and take a diagramming class, grammar class, to learn all that stuff I'm forgetting. Okay, they tasted good. They taste good. So they is the subject. You're not actually tasting. It's a predicate adjective. I became hungry late in the evening. Get rid of in the evening. I became, what did you become? You became hungry. Children could smell freshly baked bread. Oh my goodness, I'm sitting here hungry, so that's terrible. So the children could smell, what could they smell? Bread. Oh, I was going to do all these. We're done. Let's go on. On notebook paper, write the sentences using the following words as instructed. So we won't write them, but let's just talk about it. So feel is an action verb. So I could say, come feel this material. It's so soft. Okay, so I'm telling you to feel. I feel tired today. That would be linking. I feel tired. Look as an action verb. Come look at this bird outside. Or it looks sick. The bird looks sick. Okay, so you're looking at the bird and the bird looks sick. He's not actually looking. All right, let's go to the next page. 202. Use this procedure to find and identify complements. Well, who's going to memorize that whole list, right? So let me just tell you how I find complements. I always, this is the process of labeling a sentence that I've learned is the best thing to do through the years of learning different people saying different things. Always get rid of the prepositional phrases first. Have I said that how many times this year? Always get rid of those first. You never want to mistake them for the subject or the direct object or the predicate nominative, and you will if you're not really good at picking out a prepositional phrase and getting rid of it. And I've said before, and I'll stick to it forever because it worked with my kids so well when I taught them, that when you start teaching grammar, which when I was homeschooling, we didn't start teaching grammar until junior high, actually, or 5th and 6th grade for my girls. Some of my girls were ready for it when they were younger. But anyway, definitely when they're hitting that 11 and 12-year-old age, start teaching grammar. After they know what a noun and a verb is, right? Teach them the basic thing. What are nouns? What are verbs? Okay. After that, teach them what a prepositional phrase is first. And because if you can pick prepositional phrases out, you'll save yourself a lot of aggravation for the rest of the sentence. And if you're not really good at that and you're not getting rid of them first, people often will think that they're the subject or the direct object or all the crazy things they could be. And so get rid of those. So then once you've gotten rid of your prepositional phrases, right, you find your verb. You look at your verb, find it. You can always ask yourself right then, is it action, is it state of being, or linking? And if it's not performing an action, it's got to be one of the other ones, right? And then the second thing is, what's the subject? Who or what is doing the verb, or is the verb, or whatever it is. At that point, you look at that verb and you say, okay, well, if it's state of being, then I'm going to be looking for either a predicate nominative or a predicate adjective. If it's action, I'm going to be looking for direct objects and maybe even indirect objects. That's what you do. So let's follow those steps as we look at Think A. Okay? Number 1, Lord Cornwallis led the British forces during the Revolutionary War. Okay, so step 1, get rid of the prepositional phrase. Here we go. There it is. And I know you guys can find them so well now. Number 2, let's find the verb. Led. Now, I know right away that's an action verb. So I'm going to be looking for direct objects and indirect objects. But let's find the subject first. Lord Cornwallis. And they didn't tell us to label these, but we're going to go ahead. All right, and what did he lead? He led forces. Do you see how easy that was? Let's do the next one. The mother sang her baby a gentle lullaby. No prepositional phrase. Now let's find the verb. Sang. Is that action? It sure is. Mother sang. What did the mother sing? Ask yourself that first. What did the mother sing? A lullaby. That's the direct object. Does the sentence tell us who she sang it to? Baby. That's the indirect object. It's really easy when you get into that habit. Number 3, Nate Saint was a martyr for Christ. Prepositional phrase? Sure enough, get rid of it. What's the verb? Was. What's the subject? Nate Saint. All right. Was, state of being verb. So I'm going to look for predicate nominative or predicate adjective, something either describing Nate Saint or renaming Nate Saint. And here I have a noun, renaming him, martyr. So that is a predicate nominative. Yeah, you have a question?
What would you do if you swapped brains with the dumbest person on earth?
What would I do if I swapped brains with the dumbest person on earth?
Yeah.
I don't know. Be dumb? I don't know. Is this a joke?
Ask me that.
Ask me that? Oh, I need to ask you that? What if I switch brains with the dumbest person on earth?
With you.
What?
What if you switch brains?
Oh, what if I switch brains with the dumbest person on earth?
No.
What?
You're saying me.
Oh, what if you switch brains with the dumbest person on earth?
I'd say, hey, Denise, give me my brain back.
Get out of here. He said, I'd say, hey, Denise, give me my brain back. You meanie. Okay, well, you come over here and teach these guys how to diagram these sentences and label them.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Let me see. So.
All right, so let's look at number 5. The Huguenots were courageous. Oh, I skipped one. Number 4. Pass me those cupcakes, please. Well, this is an imperative sentence with an understood use, so I'm going to put that out there and underline it. All right, I don't see any prepositional phrases. So you pass, that's the verb, and that's action verb. So now at that point, I'm looking for direct objects and indirect objects. What are you to pass? Cupcakes. To whom? Me. See how that works? The Huguenots were courageous. No prepositional phrase. So the verb is were. Huguenots were. So if it's were, I'm looking for predicate nominative or predicate adjective. And that would be courageous, which is an adjective. We closed the meeting and went home. All right. No prepositional phrase. Verb, closed, which is definitely action. We closed. And what did we close? Oh, and went, by the way. We closed and went. We closed the meeting, direct object, and went home. So if you were diagramming that, you would have we, and then you would split it up. You closed, I'm writing sloppy, went, and you have and, right? And then extend it and make 2 direct objects there. Meeting, I'll abbreviate it, and home. That's how that would look. The fathers of aviation were Orville and Wilbur Wright. Oh, Leonard just read about them. Get rid of aviation because that's a prepositional phrase. Were is the verb. Who were? Fathers is the subject. So I'm looking for predicate adjective or predicate nominative, either something describing the fathers or renaming the fathers. Here we have nouns renaming the Orvilles or the fathers. So predicate nominatives. John fell ill during the voyage. During the voyage. Get rid of it. He felt. Now here he's not feeling something. It's how he's feeling. So that's linking. John felt ill is not a noun, but it's describing John, isn't it? So it's a predicate adjective. I am certainly tired. Certainly is an adverb, right? ly, telling you it's an adverb, so don't think about it. Am is the verb. I is the subject. And I am tired. Predicate adjective. All right, let's go to the next page. All right, so I think I'm going to let you guys do these on your own. Underline each linking verb twice. Circle each complement. In the blank, write PA or PN. So let me just show you number 1. So John is the smartest Matt. Always get rid of the prepositional phrase. Just do that, okay? Underline the linking verb twice. So what is he? He's a student, right? Smartest and math are describing the student. Student's a noun. So this is a predicate nominative. You do one more with you. A good sportsman should always be humble in victory. Get rid of that. Should be. Sportsman, you don't have to underline that. That's the subject, and he should be humble. Is humble a noun or an adjective? It's an adjective. All right, so do these 3. Let's look at C. Underline the verb 2 times. Circle the complement. In the blank, write predicate nominative or direct object. All right, so I want you to do these. Douglas MacArthur was perhaps the greatest general of the 20th century. Get rid of the 20th century. Makes our sentence a lot more doable. He was, MacArthur was. You can just underline that once if you want to, if that helps. He was what? He was a general. Was is a linking verb. So general is renaming Douglas MacArthur. That's a predicate nominative. MacArthur entered West Point in 1899 and graduated at the head of his class. Really has gotten rid of a lot, hasn't it? So he's entered and he's graduated. MacArthur's the subject. What did he enter? West Point. So entered is an action verb. West Point is the direct object. I'll do one more with you. In 1918, MacArthur became a general. Get rid of the prepositional phrase. Became is not an action verb. And MacArthur became, so this is not an action verb, so I'm going to look for a predicate nominative or predicate adjective. General. Is that a predicate nominative or predicate adjective? I should have circled this. It's a noun. Predicate, when you see the word predicate nominative, it's a big word, but I want you in your head to always say predicate noun, because that's all it means, okay? All right, do the rest of these on your own. I got a phone call coming in. I'm going to pause you for a second. All right, somebody was worried about my car's extended warranty, so I hung up. Okay, underline each verb 2 times. Label each complement. All right. Wow, pretty hefty stuff in here. How many? Oh, we've already gone 18 minutes. I'm going to let you do this on your own. How about if I go through half of it with you, okay? So take each sentence. Don't let the whole thing overwhelm you. Just go sentence by sentence. So today's radios give us the news every hour, on the hour. As you read, get rid of the prepositional phrase. And many people read the morning paper for the latest headlines. So I've made that one sentence way smaller. Radios give. So radios, you don't have to underline the radios, but I'll just do it. The radios give what? They give news. Give is an action verb. So you're looking for a direct object. Do you always have an indirect object? You don't. And you don't have one here. Oh, no, you do. I'm sorry. You give us. You give the news to us. All right. And many people, this is another sentence here. It's a compound sentence. People read. What do they read? Paper. Here we only have a direct object. Okay. But the news has not always been so easily available. Nice short sentence, right? Has been, not and always are adverbs. News has been, definitely linking verbs. So we're looking for a predicate adjective or predicate nominative. They have always been available. Available is an adjective, so predicate adjective. It's on noun. Before, I'll go to news with you, okay? Before the development of newspapers, so before the development of newspapers, all gone, radios and televisions, before the development of newspapers, radios, and televisions, that's all part of a prepositional phrase. The town crier was an important part of daily life in Europe and America. See how amazing that was? I got rid of all those prepositional phrases. Now I'm left with the town crier was an important part. Nice, easy sentence. So he was, the crier was, a part. So was is a linking verb. So I'm looking for predicate adjective or predicate nominative, because remember, these two are the linking verbs, these two are the action verbs. So part is a noun, so be predicate nominative. The town crier was a walking newspaper. No prepositional phrase there, but was is a linking verb. Crier, once again, is the subject, and he was a walking newspaper. That's a name for him. So I think that whole thing, let me look that up in my book, but I do believe that whole thing, maybe I'm wrong here, let me see. Yeah, no, I was right. That whole thing, because it's in quote, is the predicate nominative, because that's like a name for him, a nickname. Every day he would stand on the street and tell people the latest news. Okay, so he would stand and tell. He's doing two things. He is the subject, right? So he would stand, on the street corner. That's whole thing's a prepositional phrase. I'm sorry. He would stand, and no, so that would it. And he would tell, there's no direct object after that one, and tell people the news. Well, what would he tell? He would tell the news. He wouldn't tell the people. He would tell the news. What's he telling? The news to the people. So they're the indirect object. All right. See if you can do the rest of it on your own. Get rid of the prepositional phrases. There you go. I don't know if I got them all, but I think I did. Get rid of them. Makes your sentences smaller. Okay? All right. I'm going to quit there.